All right, everybody. Hey, it's me again, Matthew Sanford. I'm founder of Mind Body Solutions. This is the third week in a 7-week course. If you don't know, I get around in a wheelchair. I'm also a yoga teacher. I've been in a wheelchair for 42 years, practicing yoga for 29, and I got some things to say. So, kind of want to do a quick kind of review of some of the things really quickly. In general, what this course is trying to do is trying to help all of you, whether you're living with trauma yourself and a trauma survivor, or helping people with trauma, or both, which a lot of us are, is to try to help you rethink about the way that the body might help in the healing process. And so one of the basic ways I like to say that is the body and the presence of the body in the healing process. The body can be a teacher and not just a tool, right? It's a teacher of the mind, right? Not just something that calms the mind down. So kind of for a quick review on the other weeks, one of the things, one of the sensations I take a sensation based approach, is that there's a sensation of emptiness and a sensation of fullness, right? So if you slouch your chest, you drop your sternum here, and you kind of let your neck hang out, kind of like when you hang out at your computer, that's what I'm going to define as more of an empty feeling. Lifting your chest, hitting through your sitting bones, opening here, more of a full feeling. Obviously, there's also a feeling of being more connected to what's around you and the space around you, or less connected to the space around you, right? So that connection and disconnection, emptiness and fullness are both sensations in the mind-body relationship. So obviously an inhalation feels full, exhalation tends to empty, but is there a possibility for further sensations as you begin to empty? And the answer to that is yes, right? So last week, we talked a little bit more about grounding, meaning that, like, if you think about the inhalation, you feel full, that is a sense of grounding. You exhale, and what happens on exhalation, can you exhale after the inhalation and still stay grounded in your body? So one of the quick ways that we would do that would be that there's a calming sense. So the exhalation's a letting go, right? It's not just a disconnecting feeling, it's a release. And as that release comes into you, there's a possibility of grounding. So one of the things we did last week a couple different times was ground hands and feet. So my hands are going to go under the table, right? Put your feet directly underneath your knees with your chair on the floor. I'm in a wheelchair, so it's on my foot pedals, right? Feel where your sit bones are. And so what we're doing now is increasing the input into the brain, right? So the brain is getting more reference, right? So you feel your feet, you feel your sitting bones, you lift your chest a little bit, you broaden your palms, because there's a lot of connections for your thumb and your big toe mound, right? You just feel all these spaces in your body, and you take a couple of breaths. You feel the inhalation, you feel the exhalation, and especially on the exhalation, feel your body more, because there's a possibility of putting the sensation of strength to buttress the feeling of emptiness, that your body, right, is there and present with you as you start to encounter the sensation of more emptiness, right? So those are the sensation of grounding was one that I really wanted. There's all different ways to do it. So that part of that went on last week. And so I wanted you to think about it a little bit differently again now. So the inhalation is like taking in nourishment. The exhalation is an opportunity for action and strength, right? So instead of it being just a dissipation, so as you ground your hands and feet again, inhale, notice how your chest cavity lifts, feel your hands and feet. As you exhale and lift your sternum a little bit and press down and extend down through your inner heel, right? So on the emptying, it's opening a door to strength, as opposed to just being a loss, right? So this is how the sensation of grounding is so important. So today, I want to keep adding to this, and I want to add on the sensation of balance. Now, balance is one of those sensations that we kind of think about more as a physical accomplishment. So like in a yoga pose, we might have you stand on one foot and take the other leg up, tree pose, whatever. And we think that, and then you teeter totter back and forth. But that's not how I want you to think about balance. I want you to think about balance more. And what we're going to explore today is more balance as the equal distribution of presence within the body. Meaning that there isn't one that's got way more action in it than the other, that you're actually spreading and filling throughout the vessel, both on inhalation and on exhalation. So even when you're exhaling, you're still filling the vessel, right? So balance is, I want you to think of it more that way. This is how I'm an expert at teaching people with all levels of disability and ability, and that balance for some people will never be able to be physically accomplished. But that doesn't mean they can't experience the sensation of balance. And that's part of what I want to more explore today. So everyone that came, stand up. See, I'm not going to stand up, but yeah, hopefully you're going to stand up. Everyone stand up. And feet together, or if you want to keep them a little bit apart, that's fine, right? Now balance on the four corners of your feet. Meaning, on the bottom of your foot, around inside the heel and the ball of the foot. So pay attention to where the four corners of your feet are on the floor. Now notice, in order to find the four corners of your feet, you had to go inward, right? Your brain was asked to start to discriminate sensations on the inside, right? And so balance on the four corners of your feet. And remember, if you're doing this stuff with me, you get to choose if it's working for you or not. The great thing about practicing the body and practicing through the body is that you get to control the pace. So you balance on the four corners of your feet. But now what we want to do is start to distribute the presence. Hit down through your heels more and stretch out to the top of your head. If you're sitting in a chair, your sitting bones become more like your feet. So I'm going to hit down through my sitting bones and stretch out to the top of my head. But I want you to fill the vessel. So as you hit down through your heels, extend up to the top of your head, stretch your arms down so you've got some ups and some downs going, but now broaden across your collarbones and feel the outer tips of your shoulders. And take a couple of breaths. So inhale, fill the vessel, but then on the exhale, extend more down through your heels and out through the top of your head. So you start to see the possibility of action occurring on the exhalation, on the emptying. Because remember, emptying can feel more vulnerable. And I want you to see that it's the possibility of strength, right? So again, a couple more breaths where you're going down and up, feeling the outer tips of your shoulders and taking a breath, filling the vessel. Now I want you to add a little bit of subtlety. I want you to broaden across the skin on your palm as you're stretching down, and then also open your elbow pit, right? So notice the skin on your elbow pit, and then on the backs of your knees. So now you're hitting down, you're rising up, and you're feeling different parts of your body because your body's already present and breathing. Good, and then release and have a seat back down. So what I want to try to get across, so there's the balance of distributing through your whole body. So when you go back to hands and feet, grounding your hands and feet at the same time, what you're doing is giving your brain more input again, like I said. And you're watching your breath and you're experiencing your breath, but you've got more awareness. So as you feel your hands and feet, lift your chest, hit your sitting bones, feel the top of your head, and breathe, right? There's a grounding sensation, but you're balanced because you're being as equal as you can through your whole body. So there's a balance that I want people to pay more attention to, and how you fill the vessel, right? And how you can stay full even when you feel empty. Really important sensations. But now I want to add a sensation to this, right? And that's the balance from inside to out. Now, this is where it's like, in some of you, this is where you got to pay attention, because, or you got to know that you're in charge, because when you start to be aware of what's outside of you, especially some people that are living with trauma, their brain can get like too much. This is where your body's so important, right? So you've got to really practice the grounding techniques, right? So just for a second, bring your hands together. All right, so this is how you start a yoga class often, right? Your hands are together, right? And we had talked sometimes about, I don't know, well, actually, that you can push your hands together too hard. That's you being too willful. But where's the sweet connection? Like, let your hands be attracted to each other, right? As opposed to pushing too hard against each other, right? And then feel your sitting bones and press down to your inner heels. So you actually open the center of your palm. You're using grounding, but you're using a sense of expansion. And now what I want you to do is have your hands be connected to a space on the inside of your sternum. So your hands are an outer manifestation of an internal space that you can't quite feel. So let them merge together. So feel in the core of your chest and keep it company with the connection of your hands. Now feel your sitting bones and the bottoms of your feet. So you're having focus on the inside, letting the control be on the outside, and taking a couple of breaths. Letting the breath touch the whole vessel, knowing that you're in charge of how you receive, of how you feel. You get to control your own mind-body relationship. Good, and then release. And so now what I want to do is now take this to a standing position. So stand back up. And you're going to go right to balancing on the four corners of your feet, right? Because already that starts the process of going inward, right? Feel that, feel a lift up through the core. So you're hitting down through your heels and extending up through the top of your head, stretching your arms down, broadening across here. Remember, you don't have to do all the instructions I'm saying, just get it whatever sense you have of your whole body. Mm-hmm. And feel not just the balance inside your body and all the different places you're working, but now do something interesting. Feel strong in your body, but now balance within the whole room. Right? So you're being sturdy in your body, but instead of it just being a point on the center of your sternum, come into balance with the whole room. So you both have interoception, your nervous system has being able to be aware of what's on the inside, but you have this amazing gift. Your nervous system can be aware of where you are in space. And I want you to practice both. So you stay sturdy in your legs, right? You're lifting up to the core, you're extending and having your space, and then you're softening the jaw, the inside of the mouth, and letting yourself be aware of the whole room. And breathe. Inhale, fill the vessel. Exhale, stay connected to the whole room, stay strong. One more breath cycle. You get to be connected to the whole room, and you'll be more connected to the whole room as you're more connected to your body. So now keep standing there, and now I want you to prove this to yourself. Keep your heels down, but take more weight onto the balls of your feet. Like you might fall over, right? And obviously don't do this if you're having any dizziness right now, right? But feel that connect. And now I'm asking you, as you're having to be off balance and you're having to strain your neck and some muscles, are you more or less connected to the room? And the answer is you might feel more physical, but you're less connected to the space in the room, right? Now go back behind the balance point. You're going to fall backward. Obviously don't do this if you have balance issues. So take more weight on your heels. And as you have to grip your neck and hold, right? Notice that you're in a certain level of vigilance, right? But you're not as connected to the whole room. And now come back into the midline, back to the four corners of your feet, and realize that balance and the practice of balance integrates you from inside to out. It makes your mind go inward, which opens the possibility of outward expansion. And take a couple of breaths. These are sensations to practice. These are sensations to know that you get to control the pace of. That you get to be in a whole room and in your body at the same time. Right? So one of the ways, so now I just bring your feet together and actually squeeze if you're comfortable doing this, squeeze your thighs together some so your legs hit together and watch how the chest fills. You get to be strong and full. You get to go down and up and be connected to the whole room. These are the sensations. It's like when you start to rewire your brain, so it starts to open to sensations of inward and out, letting you being in charge of it. That's when the body starts to really teach the mind really important sensations. And balance is where grace comes from. When you were leaning forward and squeezing to balance, your mind was metaphorically hyper vigilant. So it was squeezing your body, right? Anyone clench their jaw a lot, hard on the inside of your mouth during the course of your day when you're unsure of things? That's your mind going, I'm off balance, right? And so you can use your body and presence in your body so your mind can trust again, right? And I know it's a process and it takes time. So do it in little glimpses, little things, 5 minutes here, 1 minute there, while you're on the telephone, while you're brushing your teeth tonight, right? Feel your heels while you're brushing your teeth tonight as you're standing there. You have a constant opportunity to reinvent how you live in your body and how your mind can let your body be the best home it'll ever have. All right, that's the short session for today. I'm willing to answer some questions if there's anything in the chat. How do I put more weight on my heels? My glutes are weak and my low back is tight while I have loose belly. So it's just as simple as, pressing down through your heels, like you're activating, like when you go, if you're able to stand up, which I'm not able to, right? But when you're able to stand up, you lean forward and you hit your legs down and you rise up. So if you're doing it sitting, you don't even have to stand up. Come forward and lean forward a little bit and feel the change of weight in your heels, and then press on your heels as you let yourself come back up. So again, practice it where it's safe, right? If you're not comfortable doing it when you're standing, come forward, feel the weight change. Now, as you press down through your heels, lift your sternum to come back. In other words, start trying to fill the vessel. So more than just your mind willing itself, you're trying to feel stuff. So that's how you take weight. And then when you hit down, whenever anything goes up, something goes up. And then I'm getting behind here. Okay, we'll address all the questions. Okay, so can I get a record? You should read them to me, otherwise I'll waste time. Can you please repeat the balance definition? Balance as an equal distribution of presence. Of course, there's the teeter-totter balance that we all grew up with, but then I call that teeter-totter balance, and then I call the other one being an organic sense of balance, the one that grows out of experience. And so an equal distribution of presence. So like, for example, like when I teach an adaptive student, let's say that's all crooked up, right? That will never be in alignment physically to feel balance. I'll do stuff like this. I'll say, feel a band around your lower abdomen. Put another band around the chest, another one around here, and one above your head. Gently squeeze the one around your lower abdomen. right? And get that sense of, and then stack the bands. So line them up, right, in your back, right? So now lean over to your right. And this is a position you'd say is physically off balance, right? But now feel the bands again. Feel the one around your abdomen. Feel the one around your chest, around your forehead, above. Gently squeeze the bottom band and stack the bands. Lengthen the spine, in other words. That's the sensation of balance. It doesn't depend solely on physical coordination, right? It's a sensation of ease and grace in the middle of tumult. So here I am about to fall over, right? I can go inward, stack the bands, feel my spine, and open. And even though I feel like I might fall, I can get the sensation of balance. That's how we teach our physically disabled students. Of all of these available on the website, kind of, but they'll also be on the Trauma Research Foundation's website, right?
I think all of these recordings will be. Here's a good one. Is phantom pain, if phantom pain is activated by movement during this, is it best to ignore it, or what should you do?
Well, in general, you should never ignore pain. So, but you have to start being able to distinguish it between good and bad pain, right? And one that's more you got to pay attention to. So in general, I have a lot of chronic pain, and including phantom pain, right? And so I know that pain comes to guide me. And I've earned that realization, but there's some pain that I should just be avoiding. So again, pain should be discriminated. And don't ever just acknowledge it. And if it starts to go to that place where it's shutting you down in other places, where the pain starts to make you recede and harden, then you've gotten past the point where you're being guided anymore. But a lot of times when I start to feel like, if I hold this arm out, I've torn this rotator cuff. If I hold this arm out very long, here it starts to happen. I'm starting to get like a nerve thing right here. Before I let it get bad, like if I wait for 5 minutes, it's going to really suck, right? But if I hit down through the opposite hip and down through so this is I'm going to call it my left arm, right down through my right hip and my right heel, I can actually distribute the strain. So it's not just going to the place of pain. So that's how pain comes to guide you, as long as you work with it and know that at a certain point, pain is just bad. Don't try to pretend it's a great teacher. It's a great teacher up to a point.
What was your advice on doing balance exercises when there's auditory disturbances in the room?
Well, again, that would be a form of balance, right? So loud noises and trying to stay in balance, right, would be part of the challenge. That's like turning up the heat on yourself, right? And so if it's so bad, right, that the auditory, your mind's not able, then it's not a great time to balance, right? Go walk out of the room, go change your environment, go do something else, right? So again, it's so much more in mind-body exercises, whether they're yoga or not. Never abdicate your common sense. Never you use your common sense. So if it's being super distracting, it's not a good time to practice balancing poses. And the other thing about balance is that some days you'll balance better than others. So not only does balance teach you how to go inward and balance with outward, it also shows you how much you change day to day. And that's okay. The fact that you're different every day is part of the potential you have each day to heal a little bit differently. Anything else that you're seeing?
Yeah, there's two more. I have a client who feels iron bars in her throat when she sings, yet is comfortable dancing. This seems like this might be a good practice for her.
I also think she should never stop dancing. I also think that when she's singing, maybe you could try putting like sandbags or a weighted blanket on her legs, because something's going on here. And so when you can, again, apply this principle of balance, where you try to get so too much awareness is coming here, right? And it's getting gummed up. So if you can get her to be in her feet more and her sitting bones more, So this might be free. The other really simple, like real simple thing is everyone could try this right now. This is something that's really cool when you can practice it enough. Everyone relax your belly to relax your throat. Do it right now as you soften the inside of your mouth. This is softened by the abdomen, right? And that's something you learn in different poses, right? And so she needs to do, and now think about what that is. I'm telling you, soften her belly, because that brings her away from the point, distributes her awareness in her body, and allows her to feel freedom from, because she's expanding around the stuck energy and giving it boundary rather than letting it be the thing that's thwarting the front part of her awareness, right? Her ability to sing. So again, that would be a great application of the equal distribution of presence.
I got one last one. We'll close on this.
Okay.
Someone says they loved your words, and just complete this quote because they can't remember what you said. As the mind goes inward, ...
Well, I'm not exactly sure. However, one thing I might have been trying to say is that, and I wouldn't have used these words, was the mind goes inward, there's an opportunity to balance more with what's outside, right? As balance goes toward, as your awareness goes towards the midline of your body, you'll be able to expand more outward, right? And I showed you that by having you like press down through your heels or put your legs together. That was moving you towards the midline to help you feel taller. So as the mind goes inward, maybe I said the mind's the best home your mind will ever have. Your body's the best home your mind will ever have. I mean, there's a zillion variations on that ... So I hope I got one of them. As your mind goes inward, feel connected to the room. Yeah. Turns out that you're wired with different parts of your nervous system. As you go in towards the center, there's the opportunity to expand outward. That's part of the gift of being alive. So on that one, we'll be done for today, everybody. I'll see you next week, and we'll be talking about expansion, lions and tigers and bears. All right, take care, everybody.